Good morning, YouTube. Happy Friday. This is the last I'm going to do on electrics for a little while, or intend to do on electrics. Today's video is like I'm wiring up plugs and I'm just telling you what to look for. I fully appreciate if you're watching this as an electrician, DIYers don't need to be educated on electrics, and I get it. The aim for me is to pick out the people that are over keen, and rather than giving someone nothing and letting them hurt themselves, it's obviously a sticky one, but I'm trying to give a little bit of information to people that don't really need to have the information. But I would rather give them it and they had access to the knowledge and they could have made themselves safe and called the electrician and they didn't, rather than people going ahead. And when I go round and I pull kitchens apart and I'm like, why have you insulation taped those cables together? Why have you left that like that? What on earth? That's not even clipped. Whoa, that cable shouldn't even be used for that. Not that I'm really the person for that, but obviously over the time, I know what I'm looking at. That doesn't make me an expert, that doesn't make me qualified to say that, but I got a comment in the last video laughing at almost AM2, and obviously, yeah, I get it. Like that's probably a silly thing to say, because either you are an electrician or you're not. Hello, when's the next shipment coming in? Yeah. All right, nice one, Narco. I'll see you on the beach. Joke. Trust my mum to ring me in the middle of trying to do something. Anyway, back to the message. Yeah, I get I'm not really the person, but like I'm saying, shout out to my man Mitch. He is more than qualified to tell you guys. He's just he's a bit shy with it, I think, but like an egg, we're gonna crack that shell and we're gonna get Mitch on YouTube. Because mate, Mitchell does some amazing work. I'm standing here talking about how I can put like 5 ways in a little 12-way or a 10-way fuse box. Mitchell balances 3-phase and wires up Sainsbury's, Travel Lodge, your next cinema, power stations, nuclear power station, I don't know. Yeah, he works on some awesome stuff, and he knows his stuff. He's just so humble. He daren't explain how much he knows his stuff. So shout out to my man Mitch. But please don't hate on Mitch or me for any information given here. This is me standing on my own legs. So please, if any of the information in this is incorrect or misleading, please do correct me. I'm brave enough to stand here and try and educate people. The people I'm trying to catch with videos like this are, if I wasn't in the trade, I would be a typical person that would be Googling how to do something, clicking on the top link and perhaps not understanding it fully and not having full context of what I'm understanding. And yeah, you know, my brain thinks at like 2 times speed and my mouth moves at 5 times speed. Sometimes when I'm saying stuff on camera, my brain is behind what my lips are saying and it doesn't always make sense. So I try and correct myself with comments. Anywho, I'm waffling a load of... Please enjoy the video. I respect anyone's opinion on a chippy talking about electrics. I don't really intend to do this. Like I say, I'm doing it because I know there's people out there that are brave enough to be doing stuff, and there's probably nicely grandparents that have been around construction, say, and do stuff. And again, you know, you go to your mate's best granddad's shed and you look at the wiring and like there's just dangling through the joists. Everything about it is dangerous. So I'm trying to educate the younger generation that are on YouTube and or whatever generation I'm catching with this video. I'm trying to give you context of if you was decorating your house and you pull that light switch forward and you're like, oh, no, I'll just, don't do that. Call an electrician. Or when you do that, oh, that's pretty neat. Yeah, that's all right. Oh yeah. Again, Charlie shouldn't be the one telling you it because, yeah. But I'm pretty confident 99.9% of what I'm telling you is correct and good. The amount of people I see sleeving stuff with like incorrect sleeving or wrapping insulation tape around like earth. Like, don't get me wrong, if it works, but it's just poor practice. So I'm trying to educate people on high standards so that when they come across mediocre or really poor standards, they can see the difference. Man, I can talk. Let's get on with the video. I'll see you in the next ones, guys. Enjoy. That's that. Right, what else can I show you? Sockets. Right then, guys, I hope you're enjoying this it's back. I hope you're enjoying this anamorphic lens. I'm buzzing. I can't wait to be able to do some cool shots with it. Right, sockets. I don't want to be wasting loads of cable, so I'm going to cut that there. I'm going to cut this here. Mate, when you get something out, there's so much to put away. That is the pain to doing all of this. Right, sockets. Unfortunately, when it comes to sockets, these Knipex flex cutters, flex being the key word, don't work. So when you get this copper, don't want to damage anything. So I just go there, down between two strands, or try and miss the strands. If I hit the strands, it's not the end of the world. Right, by doing this first snip, and again, context guys, this is so simple to do out of a back box. It's obviously a different ball game when it comes to doing it in a box. I just nip there once, and look, so if I do this, and when I've done that, and peeled all of this back like a banana, if I get there, and one of my cables looks like that, cool, it's no good. Don't have to start again, just get rid of it. So that all your cables are neat, nothing is damaged. Also, when you have your two cables coming out of a socket, if you're playing around with sockets, say you've done something in your kitchen, you want all your cables to be the same size. You do want enough slack so that you can probably bend them and do something like that, so that then when they come back up in the socket. Right, so if you was to pull a socket forward, you might see something like this. What you don't want to be seeing, say I do that, I might need this macro lens again, off the anamorphic, on with the macro. So what you don't want to see, guys, is cable like this. If you can see cable like that, that is damaged, and that will eventually lead to a weak joint. Cut it, and start again. Start again, he says, and he does exactly the same. Weak joint. That is why it's very important you use something appropriate like these. So as much as this is for flex, I do have all my different gauges up the side here. And that then can leave you with a nice clean joint like that, where that's not going to flop around and break. Let's take your glasses off, mate. Oh, hello. Yeah, it's me. Now let's make it so you can see again. All right, welcome back to the show. Bro, let's take this screwdriver. This is probably too small, and that is just about right. You know, you want enough. You want like 15 mil, 12 mil. This is obviously well out of context because it's easy for me to hold this in my hands. You now need to get both of those neutrals together, right? And you need to make sure that there's no copper on show. Hug test, yeah? I'll carry on for a moment and then we'll come back and I'll show you what looks good and what doesn't look good. So let's get some earth sleeving. Slide that over, bend, come down to my point where I'm going to cut. Slide this over, bend, come down to my point where I'm going to cut. Lift up. Right then guys, let me bring you over and we'll have a look at this socket. Right, so what do you think? My neutrals are in neutral, my earths are in earth. Everything looks good, don't it? Apart from this, no copper exposed. So it looks good there, but there's copper exposed on the underside there. That means you could come in here with your hands or fingers. You could be holding that like that, touch that, belt. Right, so to fix this, all I need to do is just nip a bit off the length and then poke this back in. And then let's do it up whilst holding it. And that needs to be nice and secure. Not the best. If I do this. Not the best. All right, look, it's not the best, but it's much better. I think that should just pass an AM2, should just about pass an AM2. The other thing that you want to inspect for is that the screw is clamping down on both. So give that a tug. Oh, I don't know what it's doing. It's done its anamorphic, it's doing its face tracking thing. So look now, guys, I could pull that off. But look, there is no copper exposed upon that. I need to turn that face thing off. No copper. Call an electrician realistically if you need to correct any of these things, but this is an example of what you should see. Some things you might see that are not good. You might see this. This will still work. It's just not safe. You might come across something like this. All that means is that the ring is broken but still works. No, it would be the same if it was the neutral cable. I don't know what else to talk about. I only really want to help DIYers understand what looks good and what looks bad is the main message with this video, and it's kind of a message, it's coming out in this video where I can also give the message. I have a very good understanding of what I'm talking about, but I don't know everything, is the message. I know more than enough to tell you what's safe in your house and what's not, but I don't know enough to pass an AM2 and stand here and tell you everything. Things electricians could do to find faults like this is if you had something like this going on, they would be able to get their tester, Mega or Fluke, whatever they prefer. They're both as good as each other. It's just one's iPhone, one's Android, one's manual, one's automatic. They'd be able to do a test like this. It's pretty good. Now then if I come over this side, the reading's going up. Why is that? Because it's radial and it's getting further away. Watch this. If I come down here, which is directly below the board, the reading gets lower because we're closer to the board.